mental health wasn't really about then. No one spoke about depression, especially being my sort of size and a young active kid. It wasn't something I could really reach out to anyone about, and I was definitely lost, and it was a very difficult place to be for probably 12, 18 months, which is why I have a lot of compassion now at my age when younger kids are in this, especially in this industry. It's a horrendous industry to be in if you're young and vulnerable and you're not sure of who you really are, and especially with social media and the platforms, and you can put some content out, someone can judge you for that content, judge you without even knowing who you are. So I do have a lot of empathy and compassion for the younger kids that are coming through today and living every single day online. For me, it was a difficult time for sure of my life, and although it was difficult at the time, I would 100% not change it, because that's definitely what gave me the energy I have now, the passion I have now, and every single day waking up almost feeling like I'm not good enough, but I'm getting there, and that energy is what keeps me moving forward, and what's kept me moving forward is taking me on to an incredible career. I was trapped in the house. I was 6 months depressed. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in my career. I was never academically there. It wasn't what I enjoyed. I was someone who wanted to be out and about and around people, and always trying to stay active, to be honest. So when you think what happened, and I used food as a way of controlling my emotions in a sense. And then what I didn't realize is the back end of that, I'd lost my energy, so I couldn't do what I enjoyed doing. I couldn't do fitness, I couldn't train, I couldn't have that outreach, which I did use to deal with depression. And as I've got older, I realized just how important it is to train for yourself and for just to feel good. I mean, every single person here will understand exactly what I mean, because that's why you're here. It gives you so much energy and so much reason to carry on. I started in sports, playing cricket at a young age, and then probably 7 or 8 years into it, got a serious injury, which it affected me massively, not only physically but mentally, and then I had somewhat of a breakdown. Those that follow me will understand the story. Believe it or not, sitting on stage here, I had a form of anorexia through depression and through what the result of the injury caused. And then that's how I got into fitness, to be honest. I wanted to try and pull back and try and find myself again. And I found that in a gym, which I'm sure many of you guys here have very similar understanding to what I'm saying, is when you find yourself and when you find something you're passionate about, it gives you a purpose every single day. In the fitness industry, I think what's brilliant about the fitness industry is that it's all about passion, and it's all about self-belief, and it's making the most of what you've got. And from a young age, I always stood out. I was always the bigger one, whether it be height or size. And I'd say I was bullied slightly, but not to an extreme level. But it gave me something that was able to fight back and want more for myself. So it was definitely a journey worth taking. You've got to remember, I come from a background of cricket. So
of course,
it wasn't much weight training involved in that. A lot was fitness, flexibility, and stretching. And I think for me, going from the ages of 11 or 12 up until I was 19, 20 at a high standard, and I was playing for Warwickshire, I was at ECB, I was national training academy. So it really taught me the basics on food, and it taught me the importance of training with intensity and purpose. And I read a lot of people talk about overtraining and you shouldn't train this much, you shouldn't train that much, but there's very few people, I personally believe, that overtrain. When you've been to a level that professionals have been, and I'm sure there's plenty in this room, you'll understand how much the body can do and how much it can achieve. And I think I've took that mindset into training. I'm 40 now, and I genuinely believe I train harder now than I did when I was 21. It comes making a living out of the physique. Obviously, it goes through peaks and troughs. So there's stuff that I'll do, whether I get offered a film, a certain type of film, whether it be a fight film or action film. I've just got back from Serbia, which was to play the role of a Russian mafia, which was a great role. I was there for 3 months. Had to learn Russian for it, which was interesting. Had to change my accent, so it was better than this one I've got now. So it was a great film to be part of. But for that, I had to change my training for the character involved, which is great for me because it gives me a new energy. And basically all I did was a lot of time and attention. I had to be very careful not to get injuries, so it was very sensible training. And it really allows you to appreciate different forms of training, whether it's strength, whether it's hypertrophy, whether it's endurance. And for me, because I need to sort of float in between stages, I tend to mix the training up a lot. I tend to get very short notice for stuff, which is frustration at times. So when I've not got any projects planned, I'll just float. This is me floating at the moment. I'm in a stage where I feel I could go big or small very quick. And it will be pretty much within 2 to 3 weeks I can rebound one way or the other, and everyone in here understands how to go about that, and carb loading and depleting and fasted cardio, and there's so many tricks that you learn over the years. Especially for myself, I've been so fortunate to have such amazing friends that are in the industry who can and have taught me over the 20 odd years how to do it. But it's more a case of planning and preparation. If you plan and prepare, you can pretty much take your physique wherever you want, but you have to have a base knowledge of what you're doing, and then even more than that, follow the plan through. The amount of times you'll give out plans and they'll start them in a week, and after that they'll forget. But it's more about the commitment to a plan, and talk even more than fitness. It's the same as life. If you're committed to what you're doing, you'll be successful. The most important part about having a rest day and filling it with quality for me is having a family and my 3 children. If I don't designate time to that, any parent here knows that they'll change overnight, and missing out on seeing your children grow up and having that experience for a selfish reason, especially if you don't need to train, is really important. And I'll touch on the importance of training to be productive and not training to escape. I mentioned earlier about mental health and training and the effect it can have. A lot of people tend to overtrain because they're trying to run away from something in the brain, and using the training as a therapy. But the problem is it can become a negative therapy if you're training to escape and not training for performance. These were, I think, like most kids that watch a film, I think that would be really cool to be in it. And it was something I wanted to do with a passion. About 6 years ago, I got the opportunity. I got a great agent, and he suggested that I quit doing everything I was doing work-wise. So I quit, which was a bit of a gamble. Went back to university, learned how to act. Well, tried to learn how to act. Went through a few auditions. The auditions actually went really well. My second audition, about 3 weeks after I got the role, I was on a plane with Ray Winston to South Africa, filming for 3 months, a TV show for HBO, and I remember getting a paycheck from that and looking at it and thinking, I don't want to be a personal trainer anymore. It was one of them ones where it was a life-changing moment that the gamble had worked and it had paid off. I mean, I was massively lucky, and I still am every single day. I'm grateful for the opportunities I have to be here and to speak to people. I genuinely say this to so many people. I'm just a very lucky, normal person that's made the most of every opportunity.